Primate is a brutal January thriller where a family's tropical vacation turns into a nightmare after their pet chimpanzee, Ben, becomes violent and starts terrorizing them and everyone around them. It's a non-stop survival horror packed with intense creature feature chaos. Hey guys, thank you for clicking this video, and my question to you is, have you seen Primate? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comments. But my overall opinion about this movie is, one, let me get this out the way. I do not like scary movies. I don't like thriller movies. I don't like horror movies. Of course, I don't like the blood gushing and guts just splattering everywhere. I don't like that. Now, it doesn't mean I don't appreciate these kind of movies, but because of course I've seen my handful of scary movies. But what's important to me, the kind of make it worthwhile to watch these scary movies, is a good storyline. I need to be immersed into the movie so I can enjoy the scary that I know I'm going to get. And to be honest, let's just get this out the way. This is not it. This ain't it. Now, we've seen movies like this before, or at least the concept, like Cujo or Jaws, where people are stuck in a environment, a place, and there is a killer animal on the loose, and it makes for a good story. But the problem isn't the story per se. Once again, I like the theme and the storyline, but just the execution of it fell short to me, and it felt like it was, I don't want to say cheap, but it felt like it could have done better. And once again, I know I'm not a director or an actor, but I've seen these types of movies executed before, and they've done a good job. Now, what can you do just with people surviving within a house and a chimpanzee running around? I don't know. But just watching the movie, it felt like it wasn't worth watching for someone who doesn't enjoy or like want to be scared. You see what I'm saying? So hopefully that makes sense for you. So let's go ahead and talk about the highlights, because once again, this was not like the worst movie I've ever seen, but let's talk about the highlights. So one of them was, as soon as they realized that Ben, this guy here, was a threat, it was game on. And that was really early throughout the movie, which kept me interested as it did. I definitely didn't want it to prolong, until like halfway through the movie, and then, only like 20-30 minutes of Ben being a terror. Like, this was essentially at the beginning of the movie, and it kept you on your toes at that moment. And that was good, because it was a nice pace throughout the movie. The movie didn't feel like it was too long. It didn't feel like it was too short. It was just enough, and it kept you knowing something's going to happen. You don't know when or how, but you knew something was going to happen. And I appreciate that it gave you that right at the beginning of the movie, like literally at the beginning. It's like, oh, this is what we're going to be dealing with. And when it comes to Ben, the chimpanzee, he was pretty amazing. And watching the behind the scenes of this movie, because I was kind of curious on how they get Ben to do Ben things. And I thought it was animatronics. I thought it was going to be a lot of animatronics and special effects. But it was actually an actor in special effects, of course. But that was amazing on his own. So I appreciate them actually going above and beyond when it comes to an idea like this, because it felt like they could have definitely made it cheaper to just, go other avenues. But I appreciate the way that they portrayed Ben and his movements and the way that he acted, not knowing how a chimpanzee is going to be acting in a situation like this. That made it a little bit more scary, because we already know with humans, Jason, Freddy, things like that. But a chimpanzee, they're smart and they're strong, and they're just animals at the end of the day. So putting all those three together you didn't know what was going to happen, and I appreciated that about this movie. And just real quick, another one of my favorite parts, and this is a light spoiler, so once again, just like fast forward this part if you don't want to hear. It's not too big of a spoiler, but the dad, he is deaf in the movie, and there's a scene where he comes home, and of course he can't hear anything, but there's a lot of screaming, and the monkey's screaming, and kids are screaming around. He's just like walking through the front door. You know what I'm saying? He sees a slice of pizza on the table. He takes a bite. He's kind of looking around, and there's like action, craziness going behind him. I thought that was pretty hilarious. And another kind of interesting bit about this, which, you know, the small details I appreciate. The actual actor, what is his name? Hold on. The actor Troy, who played Adam, the dad, he's actually deaf. Now, of course, they could have just chose someone who can act deaf, but I just, once again, appreciate the small details to kind of really portray exactly what's going on. So now let's talk about the letdowns. And once again, I've seen my fair share of scary movies, thrillers, horrors, and anything in between. So when it comes to like the cliche of these kind of thrillers, it had a few of them in there. And I kind of thought to myself, like, I know they need this to happen to keep the movie going, but it's like, why? Why? Like, we know when a person is approaching the door, and the person in the movie, they know there's a monster or a killer on the other side of the door. We know that. Everybody in the world knows that, but they still open the door. You know what I'm saying? So moments like that. And once again, here's more light spoilers. I just wanted to tell you guys because it's really important. But there's a moment where the two girls are sneaking back into the house because they don't know where Ben is. And they know that there's a phone in the living room. So they're sneaking in there. And they're doing a good job of being quiet. There's things on the floor, but, you know, they're tiptoeing. And they see the phone. It's charged. It's on. And when she reaches for the phone, it's like she punches everything around it and turns on the TV. And the TV is loud as hell. And it's on Dora the Explorer. That's kind of weird. But it's like, did that need to happen? You already know the stakes is high, but you want to punch the remote while trying to get the thing that you need? Why? But of course, you know, to keep the movie going, I guess that needed to happen. And then one more other moment, and once again, I'm sorry for the light spoilers here, but there is a scene where the two young men go to the house because they were contacted by the girls. They think it's gonna be a sleepover, you know what I'm saying, and a party, and they just go into the house. They don't even knock on the door. They open the door. It's dark as hell. No signs of life anywhere. And they're just like roaming the house. And it's like, in reality, okay, and I know there's a lot of stupid, ignorant people out there, but would they really do that? They open the front door. They're like going throughout the whole entire house. And one of the characters goes into the living room, and it's a mess. TV's broken, things is thrown everywhere. And he said, oh, these girls sure do love to party. Maybe you don't want to think maybe it's a robbery. Maybe something's wrong. Let me call somebody. No. But it's like those little things right there kind of pull me out the movie and just ask myself, why? Why is this happening right now? But of course, I know it's a movie. Sometimes you got to suspense reality just to kind of make things happen that need to happen. But unfortunately, that kind of let me down. So my rating for this movie, and once again, I'm still kind of formulating a better way to kind of rate these movies. I think I'm going more with, is it theater worthy, or is it streaming worthy, or is it something that you should not be wasting your time and money on? And with this movie, Primate, can I be honest with you? Maybe streaming if you're interested in these type of thrillers, it's not going to be there. So if you want to waste the streaming money, the subscription money a month, $20, maybe it might be worth it. But when it comes to going to the theater, spending that theater money, getting your popcorn that's like, $12, getting some candy, something to drink, it's not worth it. It's definitely not worth it. So once again, that is just my opinion. Let me know if you guys seen this movie. What did you think? And once again, I appreciate you clicking this video and spending time with me. And I will see you guys in the next review.